You're listening or watching to my various book, and in this episode, I'm going to talk about how to pick a role in a software development company, and actually a list of roles in a software development company. If you think the main focus of a software development company is source code, you are wrong. Yes, the fruit of a software development company is the code, but to reach the coding phase, to reach the point where actually the code is important, there are several other steps to accomplish to achieve the think code business. The philosophical goal of technology is having less human labor. So it is absurd having people associated with software, occupied with software. Unfortunately, on whatever type of the software is, at some point there are humans or the environment that interacts with it. There are also endless number of legal frames that restrict the reuse of programming code and create a lot of implementations of the same thing. The software does not build itself. People need to fulfill the work associated with some task, and the software is actually never perfect, and that creates job endlessly. Managers create roles for better separation of responsibilities and the work between workers. Even with a software development company, people soft skills are the core. In a typical software development company, you will find front-end developers, the person responsible for implementing web interfaces. The result is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code that is drawing the required UI, required design. The front end means the code that is in front of the users. So in the latest years, coders use a lot more concepts and abstractions that than the above abbreviations that I said. So the latest development tools and frameworks are bringing more and more complexity that is required to be learned by poor front-end developer. Android, iOS, or generally mobile developer. These developers specialize in bringing the front-end design to a specific platform or framework. Backend developers. The limited are the number of types of applications that work entirely on the devices. Every system needs to do something away from the user. When the work is small and the amount of users is small, the backend system is usually small. Even a single server could work. Whenever some of the above things grows, like the number of users, the complexity of the backend, many times the backend needs to tune up the application and add more servers, optimize some processes, and so on. At, as it is invisible to the user, the backend have endless number of options of implementations of different programming languages, technologies, and limit unlimited number of ways to scale applications and improve performance and so on. Full stack developer. The individuals that know both the backend and the front end side of software. Many developers are full stack developers in sense that they know the server side languages, they could do web pages, they could create web pages, but they also are open to create mobile applications. Some custom language framework developer. A lot of software development companies have legacy systems that need support or improvements. The majority of them are written in old languages or old versions of modern languages. And one big example is United States in the year 2020. They had a need of Fortran developers because their work software was having a hard time. So, software developer. It is a general position, a person of for everything in about software. With this title, an individual could be tasked to do basically anything around source code and software. This could be desktop, mobile, web application development, server management, basic software installation or setup, documentation, automation, testing, business analysis, deployment of a product or service to servers, and so on. Team leader, an individual that manages specialized technical people. He has their technical knowledge and knows their pain, but instead of diving deeply into technical perfection, he has chosen the soft skill based career path. In the end, in whatever area, many members will need to get the work done. Even the most productive has up to 24 hours a day, and team leader strives to make the teams happy, the coders happy. Software architect, an engineer that has chosen to specialize in perfecting in the way systems are made or or managed or improved. He doesn't implement every small detail of a system, but he places the basis. So he must keep an eye that the team uses the best technological practices and patterns so the software is fast, secure, scalable, and modular so many developers could work on the source code simultaneously. Database developer or engineer, the creator of the database structure, the technical person that must design the relational or other type of data model of an application. It is crucial importance for performance. As I have written before, having more logic in the database system could bring better performance because less is transferred between the software modules separated by different software processes or operating system processes or even hardware machines. So, in the same time, it could bring less options for scaling up. But this is another thing that I have described before. It is a problem for an architect to not the database engineer, but if he's tasked, he could put a lot of logic in the database system. Database administrator, the person that manages the database systems. If the information is encrypted and password protected, he could probably have no human readable access to the data. And this is, in most cases, the way it should be. The administrator may give appropriate access to developers and other system components. He could monitor the database layout and add some more optimizations like more memory, more disk size, more copies of the database, or even he could make a read-only replicas of the database for faster reading time. System administrator. They are the same as the database administrators, just he manages the application servers, the operating systems or containers that the server that is running on. So in self-managed environments, there is a load balancer in front of an application, and it does redirection of to replicas of an application servers or database systems according to the number of requests and loads of the different nodes. And today there are DevOps specialists that are just system administrators that does not manage Linux servers, but instead they manage pool of containers, like with a system like Kubernetes, Kubernetes or something else. The skills required for managing containers are similar to managing operating systems or operating system or container nodes, but a little bit different. The DevOps specialists must wrap the old basic application components and just put a different package in different type of configurations. And, there are just they're differently named the same basic concepts. Manger. Every brand of a or a company could potentially need management. When the number of employees increases, the productivity decreases in too many cases. It is because of the dispersing of the responsibility. Who must execute what? And so here are some the managers to stick and glue the teams together so the common goal could be achieved faster and more efficiently. And there are also decision makers of what should be done, so the sum of the different parts is more than the different parts alone. Human resources. The human resources role is born when finances is separated from the management of people. There are two types of human resource specialists: the one that must find and hire people, and others that must keep current employees happy and content so they could keep up working productively. Accountant, keeping up total number positive or of the income above the expenses is of a crucial importance of actually having a business. There are salaries, taxes, paid leaves, liabilities that must be covered by the prices of a product or service or the rental of human individuals to other companies, so the company could float above bankruptcy and actually be profitable and make salaries for everybody. Content moderator. Moderators are needed in platforms where users are able to enter data freely that will be visible to other users, consumers of the content. Moderators need to look up for violent, harmful, pornographic, insulting, spammy, and any other type of bad content. They could delete it and or ban the ill-acted users. Content creator. There are video makers, article writers, ghost writers, podcast script producers, and more. Creating different type of content, valuable content for a company is not an easy task with the ever-changing and repeating world. In some sense, everything exists somewhere. Investing, inventing even written copy of something, describing the same thing but in the own in new way with new pictures with new text is tricky and important and creative. It is especially important for search engine optimization. Designer, user experience or and user interface designers. Software developers tend to be bad at the visual arts. For example, like me. So there are no less no there is These things are considered no less important than the project itself. So the software could be actually usable, and there are color combinations, position of the visual components, animations, and screen transitions, and all this stuff bring up user experience. Quality assurance specialists or testers. In a medium or big company, there is a separate role responsible for checking and verifying that the software delivered is working as expected. If the individual that do that uh, are executed by hand, they are called manual testers. If the quality assurance specialist knows the code, knows to code, he could automate the tools and the clicks and testing. So these testers become automation testers. Another role is business analysis. At some point, the clients are mere mortal individuals. Probably there are companies that have clients, technical people, but at some end point of the chain, there are individuals that do not know code and coding. So the goal of business analysis is the end goal is to ease the life of normal people. So the ideas, the concepts, the way of thinking of everyday individual is not technical. It not about the latest code technology, the algorithmic and code-oriented approach of on the problems. So, if a software engineer must program some logic, he must know how the software should work, and the business analysis role is one that is responsible for translating the general ideas in the heads of the clients to user specification and expected logic. Sales. Sales is a universal role. Everything is somehow a sale. Whatever the type of the detail, there is an individual that could have a position for salesperson. The software is an area with a lot of variations in packaging something for sale. You, you could read or watch some of my old episodes, ways to make money from software. In general, the options are become an employee or freelancer. You could sell your software as a one-time fee or license. You could put ads in technical content, or you could put ads in a software product, and you could add a monthly fee subscription model to give a limited time access to your software. You could sell the data that is managed by the software, and there are probably other 100 ways of making money from software. Marketing specialist. So, marketing and branding employees are responsible for packaging the product or service in a humane way, in stories, words, pictures, psychological tricks and clicks and tricks that will make a sale possible. And it is an answer of the question why about the software. And there are ways to approach in developing a software. So it creates a new roles like Scrum Master. Many big companies choose Scrum as a procedure organizational guideline for managing people that are developing software. Coders, testers, designers, and the end product or service builders are protected by a layer of management, and when they feel protected, workers could focus better on their detailed task. The closest to them protection is the Scrum Master. He or she coordinates the team and talks with the clients and negotiates the deadlines of the sprints, the batches of work that produce some partially done product or phase of product. Product owner. He is responsible for coordinating the functionalities of the product from the client side. The owner also checks whether the end result is being built in the way it is paid for, and having a person to look it up while it is being built, it could prevent wasting work and money on invalid direction of functionalities in the software. So, conclusion. Roles are generally a good thing, so every worker has specific type of task that he will perfect and become expert in. With time and effort, an employee with a strict position could improve and get the work done faster and with higher quality. Roles help others know what responsibility you have in a company, so their organization to not become chaotic and unproductive. There is, of course, another point of view from the worker side. Putting an individual in a role or position is like limiting him. The organizational machine often ignores the individuality and the personality of a human individual. Another aspect is limiting the amount of fee of an employee that could get from a specific type of work that he has expertise in, because there are probably other workers that could are open to work for less money, and this minimizes the salaries for specific type of work. So, which aspect of having a role do you see?